In this video, we will talk of how to overcome the judgment fear. However, we will do it not following the psychological scheme, therapeutic style, but we will understand how to overcome the judgment fear looking at the characteristics that some people without this fear have. So what method and what tools will we use to understand how to overcome the judgment fear? We will use observation and reflection, also looking at the impact that fear of judgment has on a personal level, where it takes you, and what consequences it has and will have in perspective on a social level, what it takes us. In people who have worked through and overcome this fear, it can be observed that however you judge them, it has absolutely no impact on them because they are completely stoned. They don't give anyone the privilege of being able to make them happy or unhappy based on what they are told or how they are judged. They state that at any moment, something can be done wrong, so you have to listen to everyone, but what they tell you should never determine who you are. About 10 years ago, I happened to be in a situation where a friend of mine was drunk, and in that drunken state she was in, the only thing she said repeatedly, "Please don't judge me by how I'm drinking, please don't judge me for doing it." She lost her judgment, but she cared about mine, about her. Question: regardless of whether or not we use alcohol, why are we so worried about being judged by others, and how can we avoid this from preventing us to be happy? You can be stoned without ever touching a drug or alcohol, but still stoned, and in that case being able to be judged in all ways but without suffering any effect. Because it is one thing to be high but alert, not losing one's judgment, and quite another to be disconnected. Having said that, what is the reason for this growing consumption of alcohol and drug in the world? Because heaven has collapsed. What does it mean? That people have lost their faith and drink to regain it? At a training event with thousands of attendees, the trainer asked the crowd, "How many of you think you're going to heaven?" Only 5 hands were raised, to which the trainer, surprised and jokingly said, "Are you all booked for the hell then?" In that game, however, one important thing was understood, that both heaven and hell have collapsed from people's mind. But what does this thing have to do with the fear of judgment? This is the first time in human history that so many people in the world are thinking for themselves. Otherwise, there was always the priest, the mullah, the expert, or the book who was thinking for you. It is the first time that so many people can think for themselves. Think well, think bad, think right, think wrong. The important thing is that they are doing it, because all illogical things are naturally collapsing. This generation has not completely moved away from it yet. There is still fear. They cannot openly say that there is no damn hell or heaven. They are still afraid of it. But they are trying to create a little paradise for themselves here. So naturally, when they are unable to cope on their own, with their own intelligence, they fall back into the old ways, into chemicals. Take a very wealthy society, because every society aspires to be. And let's take the United States, which is the richest nation on the planet right now. 70% of United States population is on drugs prescription. Another 30% obviously buys them from backstreet. In the richest nation, where of course wealth has no helping function, people need chemicals to be joyful. They need chemicals to be peaceful. They need chemicals to be ecstatic. Obviously, we're not looking morally. It's never a moral issue for me. But if 90% of this population right now is on chemicals, believe me, the next generation we produce will be a generation much less than ours. If we produce the next generation inferior to ours, we have committed a crime against humanity, because the next generation must be at least one step ahead of us. Otherwise, we have lost it. We have lost the whole civilization process when we produce a next generation which is actually inferior to ours. So we're heading rapidly towards that unless we teach individuals how to sit here and be happy. Teach to observe themselves and ask, am I aware enough, alert enough, clear enough? If there was a way to get intoxicated without losing your judgment, without losing your awareness, without losing your intelligence, intoxication is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. The only problem is that it takes away your judgment, it takes away your intelligence, it incapacitates you, and that's the problem, isn't so? Ask someone, not necessarily a scientist, but anyone, if it's true that this body right here is the largest chemical factory right now in the universe, at least the universe as we know it. The problem is you are a bad manager. If you know how to handle it, you will always be blessed. Anyone can say what they want, anyone can do what they want, but that's only how you deny the privilege to someone to make you happy, someone to make you unhappy, someone else to make you miserable. Right now, you are the consequence of others' opinion. Where do you think you're going like this? Anyone can ruin you. You went out and someone said to you, "You are the most amazing human being I have ever seen." And you started floating on a cloud. Then you came back home, and the people who were home told you who you really are, and the cloud has collapsed. Now, it is very important that we do not go overboard either in this or in that way. We listen to everybody because we might be doing something wrong. We are human, and at any moment we could do something wrong. Humans make mistakes, but no one will ever determine what you are. You and only you can choose who you are and what you do. But above all, you and only you can hurt yourself, because others are only allowed what you consciously or unconsciously permit. First of all, judgment hurts you because it's you who already feels a bit like this. Otherwise, it won't even touch you.